What if I told you the perfect story for Matrix 5 has already been told? After 4 films centered on Keanu Reeves' Neo, maybe it's time for Matrix 5 to go the prequel route. So let's dive into everything we know about the movie, starting with why it can't just be another origin story. There's been a long-running theory about what the Matrix 5 should be, and while it's an exciting idea, it's a story that's already been told within the franchise. The world of The Matrix is huge, with endless possibilities for future movies and spin-offs. After 4 films focusing on Neo and Trinity, fans have started to speculate about where the franchise could go next. Interestingly, there's one perfect idea for The Matrix 5 that's already been explored years ago. The original Matrix trilogy is one of the most iconic sci-fi stories ever. After The Matrix Revolutions, fans were left wondering what would come next. After 18 years, that question was answered with The Matrix Resurrections, but it was a mixed bag critically and didn't do well at the box office, putting the future of the franchise at risk. For The Matrix 5 to succeed, it'll need a fresh direction, and unfortunately, this popular theory for the next movie just doesn't cut it. If The Matrix 5 wants to succeed, it should really go the prequel route. After 4 movies centered on Keanu Reeves' Neo, it's time for a change, even though Reeves is more popular than ever. Bringing Neo back in The Matrix Resurrections was one of the film's biggest missteps, and there just isn't any more story to tell about him. For the next Matrix movie, Neo shouldn't be the main character. A prequel would be the perfect way to move forward. The Matrix universe is huge, with tons of untold stories that could easily be worthy of a movie. After the events of The Matrix Resurrections, there's not much left to explore in Neo's timeline, so the best option is to dive into the lore that came before. There's all kinds of backstory and world building in The Matrix that haven't been explored in the films. Various spin-offs have already touched on the origins of The Matrix and the cycles that came before Neo's journey, and that's where the story for The Matrix 5 should be. A prequel exploring one of these earlier cycles could be the fresh take the series needs to recover. While there are plenty of stories to explore in the Matrix universe, the origin of the Matrix and the Machine War shouldn't be one of them. It's tempting to think a prequel should dive into the Machine War since it's a major part of the lore that hasn't been explored in the main movies. But there's really no need for that, because the story was already told perfectly in the Animatrix. In the Animatrix, which is an anthology of animated shorts set in the Matrix world, one segment called The Second Renaissance covers the Machine War. The instructor walks viewers through the Zion archives, explaining how artificial intelligence rose to power in the 21st century, the events of the Machine War, and how it all led to the creation of the Matrix. It's an in-depth look at everything leading up to the original Matrix movie, giving fans all the key details. So, retelling this story in a Matrix 5 prequel would just feel redundant. That said, the only way a Matrix 5 prequel focused on the Machine War could work is if it retcons the Second Renaissance. While that's technically an option, it's risky. The Machine War is definitely worthy of a full-length feature, and the Animatrix only covered it in a short animated segment. A live-action Matrix 5 could reimagine this origin story, making the Animatrix non-canon and giving the Machine War the spotlight it deserves. However, retconning the Animatrix might not be the best move. The anthology is highly regarded by fans. Some even consider it the best Matrix content outside of the original film. Plus, the Animatrix is one of the few times we get to see stories not centered on Neo, and messing with that could damage the broader Matrix universe. Starting off a new non-Neo story by retconning a beloved part of the story might alienate fans and set a dangerous precedent for future films. It could end up doing more harm than good. While it would complicate things, The Matrix 5 could still explore the origins of the Matrix without retconning the Animatrix. One approach would be to craft the story carefully, ensuring the film doesn't contradict anything from the Second Renaissance. That segment covers the big picture of the Machine War, so a more personal, character-driven story set at the same time could easily work without clashing with the animated version. Another option is to introduce the idea that the Second Renaissance was told by an unreliable narrator. In the Animatrix, the story is presented by the instructor, who is relaying information from Zion's archives, many years after the events took place. This opens the door for The Matrix 5 to reveal that the archives could be wrong. which would explain any discrepancies between the second Renaissance and the new film. This approach could preserve both the Animatrix and the Matrix 5 without creating a messy conflict between the two. It's a clever way to expand on the lore while keeping everything intact. With the new Matrix film in the works from Warner Brothers and the Cabin in the Woods director Drew Goddard, it's going to be exciting to see what mind-bending twists are in store. Goddard's work is known for flipping genre expectations on their heads, Cabin in the Woods being a prime example of his witty, inventive take on the slasher genre. Similarly, the Matrix franchise has always thrived on subverting expectations and revolutionary storytelling, often making viewers question the reality within the films. What's even more intriguing is that Matrix 5 will be the first movie in the series without direct involvement from the Wachowskis. This puts added pressure on Goddard to create something that stands apart from the previous films. There's one particular concept from the Matrix mythos that hasn't yet made its way to the live-action films, and introducing it could really flip things upside down for longtime fans. The concept of self-substantiation. Self-substantiation was first introduced in the Animatrix and would be a game-changing addition to Matrix 5. In the original Matrix, Neo is offered the choice between the red pill and the blue pill by Morpheus, essentially choosing between the safe illusion of the Matrix and the harsh truth of the real world. As Morpheus famously says, "No one can be told what the Matrix is, you have to see it for yourself." In the Animatrix segment World Record, though, athlete Dan Davis manages to break free of the simulation on his own, simply by pushing his body and mind to their limits. This introduces a fascinating wrinkle. While Neo, the One, had to be guided out of the Matrix with the red pill, the ability of self-substantiation allows someone to escape the Matrix by sheer force of will, without any external help. It's a game changer that breaks the established rule that you need outside assistance to escape. Bringing this concept into Matrix 5 would not only subvert expectations, but also add a whole new layer to the mythology of the franchise. While characters have hinted at this ability in the live-action films, it has never been shown on screen. Including the legendary self-substantiation ability in The Matrix 5 could revitalize the franchise, tapping into the deeper lore while giving hardcore fans something they've been waiting to see for years. It's the perfect way to introduce a fresh concept while honoring the expanded universe. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.